In the 18th century, slavery was still common in the West, but there were brave people fighting against it. One of them was Benjamin Lay. He was a Quaker activist born in the late 17th century and stood just over 4 feet tall. Benjamin Lay could not stop talking about how horrible he thought slavery was. As an adult, he moved into a cave in Philadelphia, boycotted all goods produced by enslaved people, made his own clothes, and refused to drink tea or sugar. He sometimes acted on his views in a very dramatic style. When he learned of a family that kept a young girl as a slave, he invited their 6-year-old son to his cave, so the family would briefly feel the horrors of losing a child. He was part of the largest Quaker community. He once stood outside a Quaker meeting in the snow without shoes and without a coat. He explained to worried onlookers that slaves were forced to work outside in this attire throughout the whole winter. In one of their yearly meetings, he tried to educate them about the equality of all mankind, referring to the verse in the Bible that says all men are created equal. As obvious as his morals seem to us now, he was probably considered an annoying weirdo by some people at the time. It paid off to be a weirdo though. Between 1681 and 1705, around 70% of the leaders of the Quakers' yearly meeting enslaved people. And about 75 years later, that figure dropped to 10%. A bit later, it got banned entirely. The Quakers' abolitionist movement became influential. They inspired and helped many abolitionists, even overseas. British abolitionists managed to persuade their parliament to abolish the slave trade in 1807 and to make enslaving people illegal across most of the British Empire in 1833. So it is possible to make the case that there were people without whom we might still have slavery in the Western world today. There were also other important figures around the time who had a big influence on the abolitionist movements in their respective countries. Examples include Frederick Douglass, who escaped slavery, became a preacher, and wrote 3 autobiographies. He saw photography as a political tool and became the most photographed American in the 19th century. Frederick always looked stern in his pictures to not play into the racist caricature of a happy slave. Then there's Harriet Tubman, who also escaped slavery and freed 70 people in 13 missions. During the Civil War, she became the first American woman to lead an armed expedition, freeing over 750 enslaved people. Olaudah Equiano was able to buy his way out of slavery, and his autobiography fueled a growing anti-slavery movement in Great Britain and beyond. Louis Gama won his freedom through court, became a lawyer, and freed over 500 people through legal proceedings. Some people claim slavery got abolished because it wasn't economically interesting anymore. But the abolition of slavery costed the British population and government together at least £41 million, which is almost £5.5 billion today. Our morals have changed a lot over the past few centuries. Just 100 years ago, women in Italy or France weren't allowed to vote. And in Switzerland, women can only vote on the federal level since 1971. Rape in marriage was legal in Germany until 1997. Same-sex marriage has only been legalized in the last couple of years in a lot of Western countries. These major changes in our morals have happened over a comparatively short period of time. We can be certain that the coming decades and centuries will bring about drastic moral change as well, as seemingly inconsistent moral views still seem to persist today. Examples might include the criminalization of some drugs like cannabis, while other drugs like alcohol and tobacco are legal, or keeping and loving a pet versus looking away from the cruelties of animal farming. Even Benjamin Lay already took the latter thought seriously. He was a vegetarian who even refused to wear leather and wool. Whether you agree with these examples or not remains up to you. But let's take away one thing. Let's be more like Lay. Let's look for examples in our lifetime of moral inconsistencies still happening around us and fight them. We would all love to think if we lived 300 years ago, we wouldn't have accepted slavery. But the reality is that it was widely accepted at the time. So there's a good chance you and I would have accepted it too. So let's avoid that trap now, and let's always be on the lookout. Let's keep an open mind to make sure we are not participating in any moral atrocities today, even if we don't intend to. We just summarized a chapter from Oxford philosopher Will MacAskill's new book called What We Owe the Future. The book makes the case for caring about our long-term future and explores what we can do. You can use the code WWOTF to get 10% of the book at this link. I loved reading it, which is why we're making a video series summarizing some of the book's chapters. We sometimes add our own stuff too, so it isn't always an exact summary. In the next weeks, we'll be visiting Chinese history, the Roman Empire, the Islamic Golden Age, and more. So make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell to get notified when they come out. See you next week!